Here is a picture I did recently. This is actually the second time that I've drawn it. The first time around, I didn't like the way the castle looked, so I went back and did a new version of it, and that's what you're seeing right here. Yeah, the base of the castle was it was originally flat. It was like a horizontal line. I didn't think that felt right because the terrain is more bumpy. So I have like a hill top in front of the bottom of the castle, and that seems to work better. And here is a dog creature with a human head. I've always enjoyed drawing animals with human heads. I don't know why. It's just something that I find interesting. This is just a random image that popped into my head recently, and I don't really have an explanation for what's going on here. I think maybe this dog man, maybe he used to live in the castle and he was exiled from it for some reason, or maybe he used to be a prince and somebody turned him into a dog man and threw him away. I don't know, but anyway, here I am inking it now and adding shading. But like I said, this is my second attempt at drawing this picture. A lot of times I don't get it the way I want it on the first time around. Sometimes I'll draw a picture 3 or 4 times before I finally get it the way I want it. That's normal for me. It's I do know how to draw, and it's something I've been doing all my life, but it still requires effort. And a lot of times I just have to keep fighting with it until I get it to look the way I want it. That's just how the process goes. It's a little bit like carving wood, I guess. It's like you have to work with it and kind of fight with it, and then sand it down and polish it and everything. It's a long process. Altogether, I think it took about an hour and a half for me to do this picture that you're watching right now. It was I've obviously cut pieces of it out and sped it up and edited it so that it's not so tedious for you to watch. But yeah, it was a lot of time went into this. And here I'm doing the mountains in the background with cross hatching, trying to show the different sections of the mountains. And another thing I'd like to point out here is that the head on this creature, the human head that this dog thing has, is not supposed to look like any particular person. As I was drawing this, as I was looking back at this later, it occurred to me that it kind of looks like Vin Diesel, and that's not intentional. That just sort of happened. Sometimes as I'm drawing, well, a lot of times as I'm drawing, these things they sort of take on a life of their own, and they surprise me. But I did not intend for this to look like Vin Diesel. Another thing here is a lot of times I'll draw things with a black background, and I do the black background with a magic marker. And what I've learned to do is, before I fill in the background with a big marker, I'll go around all the objects with a smaller marker to create sort of a buffer zone around the objects. Because if you're coloring in a background with a large marker, it's hard to get up close to the edge of things without messing them up. So that's what I was doing here. You just saw that I was kind of outlining everything first before doing the background. And this is probably the most tedious part of the whole process is just filling in everything with the black ink. And in fact, after I went over everything, you see here, I went back over it and put a second coat on it so that it wouldn't look splotchy. And now here I'm doing little rocks. I'm just kind of making the landscape more interesting by putting, I don't know, moon rocks or something, fallen asteroids maybe, around on the ground around the creature. And I put little craters on the rocks. I just thought that would give them a little bit more, I don't know, just make them a little bit more interesting to look at. I'm trying to add cast shadows to everything. And finally I came back around to the dog itself and added some more shading here, just to touch him up a little bit more. But that's about it. So anyway, thank you for watching. This is Matthew David Curry signing off. And I also write books. You can check them out at currylibrary.com. Thank you, and I hope you have a good day.